Hey, it's Joel. Welcome to 3D Printing Nerd Studios, of course, proudly powered by PCBWay.
Where you can get 8% off by using the very special promo code in the description of the video. It's like free money, Joel.
It's like free money, Bender. This is Bender from 95.7 The Jet. Hey, man.
Joe!
It's good to see you.
He's my best buddy. He was in my wedding.
I was, and it was a good time. In
right.
fact, stay right there.
A few moments later.
Hey!
I put on the hat!
That's the hat!
That's the hat. This was the hat that Bender gave all of us rad people that were a part of the wedding. Bender, of course, you know as Seattle radio legend.
Wow.
But also the person that is responsible for putting together the big charity drive for Seattle Children's Hospital in December.
Our one big give for Seattle Children's Hospital Radiothon, upcoming our 22nd straight year of doing it. And last year for 2023, I was King Neptune for the Seafair Festival here in Seattle. It was all based on philanthropy, and I was very honored to have the role. I was given my crown and my sword, but when they went to collect it for the next king, I came to you and said, hey, I would prefer if we could 3D, because you 3D print stuff.
Once or twice. I know how to work a machine, yeah.
So I figured if you could 3D print a sword and a crown, it'll look just like my sword and my crown.
If not better.
Then we could give the 3D printed version to the new king, and I will keep the original sword and crown that's been around since the 50s.
Well, this crown and sword that's been around since the 50s, obviously it's shown some wear and tear, and it's wouldn't you want to maybe keep the 3D printed one yourself?
Yeah, if you could whip up something here in the lab, that'd be great.
Of course we could.
So it begins.
At a previous date, actually, Bender and I have talked about this, and he brought the sword and he brought the crown in, and I took a bunch of photos, and then we sent those off to a talented 3D modeler that we know.
Right.
He goes by Printed Obsession. He's a very talented 3D modeler, and he took on this job. And then I used the Form 4 to print all of the parts of the sword and the crown. And Bender hasn't seen these yet.
No, I have not seen
like
them
legit.
yet.
This is a legit surprise here.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
You ready to see
Yeah,
these parts?
let's-
Okay.
yeah.
All of the parts for the crown and the sword.
Look at that.
This is actually Bender's first time holding, touching, and seeing in person a resin 3D print, or a bunch of resin 3D prints. What do you think?
Absolutely, it's crazy. And to be completely honest, I did not realize that the crown would be in so many pieces because the crown wasn't that big.
No, it's not that big, but part of what we do in 3D printing when we create models is to model them in a way to make them easier to print.
Okay.
And to fit within the build volume of certain machines. So I utilized the Form 4 from Formlabs, which is their new resin 3D printer, and it's so big, and so I can't print a whole crown in there. We have to kind of
Do it in pieces.
do it in pieces.
That's really cool. It's very interesting the way just it all looks. So what is the next step from this point forward?
Well, the next step, obviously these have to get all finished, sanded, painted, and we'll be able to take them to my friend who specializes in that, and you'll be a part of the process. But what I wanted to show you is not just these parts, but I wanted you to experience what it's like to remove supports from these parts. So grab one of these here. You can see the part looks like this.
Yes.
And then the underneath here, this scaffolding is called support material.
Okay.
And what you do is you break it and peel it off, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Good job.
Wow.
Look at that.
How
Oh,
about
sweet.
that?
Bender can work in my print farm.
Nice work.
One of the things, though, that I wanted you to see, kind of turn it over, there are little, what we call support scars on the
yeah.
model.
Yep.
Nothing major, but what's great about resin 3D prints is you can sand them smooth really easily and then prime and paint them or electroplate them or make them gold or chrome or shiny. And so that's why we went with this. While we're here, why don't we put our little crown together? So now what we have is this piece that goes on top like this, and then we have these pieces that connect up with it. So that'll go, yeah, it'll go just like that. And I believe there's 6 of them, 5 or 6 of them.
Is it glue? Like, how do you keep it all together?
Oh, yeah, with these sorts of 3D prints, you can use regular just glue.
Okay.
You can use epoxy. So you can, it usually comes in 2 parts. You squeeze it out and you can apply it with like a like a popsicle stick or whatever. And then it has a cure time, and then it sets and you're good. And so we've got lots of different options for ways of putting these together.
How often throughout a day, and I'm being totally serious, do you look at something and go, I could totally 3D print a replacement for that?
It's multiple times every day. Like, my wife is tired of me saying that.
That's enough.
Now, the sword that you showed me had inscriptions on it, right?
Yes. The inscriptions of all the previous King Neptunes going all the way back to, I think, the 50s. This here, that's just cool. It doesn't feel like a flimsy toy.
Well, you won't be able to slay your enemies, but it will look good on a wall.
That's all we're looking for. We're going to put it right there next to the cloak and the sash.
The other thing I really wanted you to see was these parts right here. Those are for gemstones, right? With 3D printing, you want to use the manufacturing technique to the best of its ability. And when we talk about gemstones like that, we can go on Amazon and get rhinestones really, really cheap, and a whole big bag of them. And the idea now is for us to take all of this to my friend Bill from Punished Props. He's a world-class prop maker, and he's just a cool guy too. So we'll head over there and he'll help us sand, paint, prime, finish, and then eventually have something that you can wear and display.
I'm freaking excited!
I don't know, this is fun. We've been planning this a while, I know, but it's really cool to actually finally see the next steps and progress on the journey here, because it's gonna look really good when it's done.
Once it's all done, because you won't be able to tell the difference between the new sword, the 3D printed sword, and the actual sword, I could knight you. I could.
I don't know. Am I worthy?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, with that in mind, it's off to Bill's.
Let's go to Bill's.
We are now in a familiar place.
Hello, friends.
So Bender has never done this before, and I was excited to get him into this, and we're going to be assembling the thing here with Bill at Punished Props. And Bender, you've never done this before.
I have never done this, and obviously with the first time out, we're putting together something near and dear to my heart, my King Neptune crown.
Oh, yeah.
So it will be, and I mean, I haven't done anything like this since getting the box of model car, where you break it apart and you kind of, and I even did the cheap way out. I never did the glue and everything.
No,
the paint
the
job.
snap together
All I did
ones?
was the snap together ones. Yeah, so I'm very excited. This is so cool looking.
This is a lot like one of those model kits, a little more advanced, and we had to do a little bit of the thinking work ahead of time for the assembly.
Right. Well, Bill and I did take some time well, Bill did most of the painting.
You helped.
I got to run the air gun a little bit.
Yeah.
For all these parts, there was no sanding needed.
We went straight from the Form 4 prints, to priming, and then we did a gloss black undercoat. And then we went over this with an all-clad chrome paint. All-clad, they make lacquer paints for models, and it's just the shiniest, nicest paint.
It's super shiny. These turned out just extraordinary. Like the level of detail and...
Yeah, the detail is crazy.
It's bananas.
That's that would be the top of the crown.
We let that dry for a few days so that the paint is nice and dry. We can handle it for the assembly.
I can't wait to see you do this. But Bill, can you set us up with the what are the next steps going to be for everything?
Sure thing. So we have lots of parts here. They all need to become one part. We want to make sure that they are connected really, really well. So we have a 5-minute epoxy that's warming up right here, so it's nice and flowy and easy to mix. We've got all our parts set up. I drilled some holes for these pins.
Okay.
These are just finishing nails we're using as pins so that this main crown structure has something very solid in there keeping it together. It's really, we're counting on that. So that'll take care of this perimeter part, and then we have all of these guys that need to go on in the next step that will go up around it like that. They modeled in some grooves so that these parts fit together.
Look at that.
Exactly. So we'll do that as sort of phase 2.
Okay.
Get all those on there. And then we have all these decorative things that do the same thing. They have these, look like booleaned shapes in the back here that lock in perfectly with
in between
that guy on there. Yeah.
And then we got the top as well, right?
Then I guess that'll go on when these go on.
And we also have the King's velvet.
Yeah,
that
very
goes
important.
inside.
Extremely.
What's mind-boggling when you think about it, when this crown was originally built, and there was no even concept of it'll be 3D printed.
Yeah.
50-something years later,
Not
and
even
it's
a
going to
little
look better than the original.
You just blew my mind.
All right, well, it looks like we have some work ahead of us. Bender, I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you.
You're in good hands. I glue things together all the time.
And after decades of wear and tear on the actual King Neptune crown, this one's going to be in better shape.
Your sword, my liege.
Look at that.
Look at this. I've got my sword back.
A blessing from the Lord.
That is deemed. This is how you'll
Oh,
be
yeah. Oh,
knighted.
yeah.
This is how you'll be knighted.
So we've actually got a lot done today. Bender
Look
got
at
to
that.
experience this for the first time.
Isn't that cool?
He helped make this
It's
come
really
about.
majestic. After this, I'm going to take a little time, go through it, and make sure, because everything's just placed on there. I'm going
Yep.
to see if I can shore up some of those connections a little bit.
Some mechanical connections, right?
Yeah, and then I have to make a velour Snoopy cap
That's right.
out of this this velvety looking stuff here.
That's going to look good.
Yeah, it'll look really nice.
And then I get to order a bunch of gemstones from Amazon, and it's going to be amazing.
I mean, I cannot get over the detail of it. I can't get over the steps on how this is all done. And it's crazy. Just, I don't want to say the simplicity of it, but I mean, like the rubber mats that we're standing on is the basis for all of this stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, the next time that they see this, it should be on your head.
That is correct.
Excellent.
The only
All right.
the only place it should be.
Good work, team.
95.7 The Jet, variety of the 80s, 90s, and more.
Maybe.
Joel Telling, 3D printing nerd, photographer of the program, way back.
Yeah.
Way
But
back.
he's a big shot now in the 3D printing world. I went to Joel and I said, hey, can you 3D print a crown and a sword? And Joel did such an amazing job that I could have kept the original and we could have given them the 3D printing version and they wouldn't have known the
This
difference.
3D printed version, though, because you've been a part of some of the process, and it's nice. Like, it's
Yeah.
nice.
It's real nice.
So the sword and the crown are here.
Yeah.
There's my sword.
There
That
you
is
are,
a-
my liege.
It looks exactly like the other sword, but
really
it's
does.
lighter.
It's a little bit lighter.
It's
The
lighter.
sword has the engravings on the blade.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one does not.
I really
yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
I'm back at Alki Beach
Yeah.
fending off the pirates.
When it was you against those
When it was me
damn
against the pirates.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
Now,
Ben.
Jody, you remember what it looked like?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Here is
Here's my 3D printed.
your 3D printed crown.
Yes. Oh my God!
God.
Holy!
Check that out.
That's better than the original.
It
Hold
looks
it. Yeah, it's
just like
it's a little sturdy.
the original.
Look at you made it so sparkly, Joel.
It shimmers with those
Wow!
rhinestones. So it does have the foam on the inside.
Wow.
Well, that's it, dude.
Texts are all coming in saying you must be so happy. I can't wait to see it on YouTube. Yes, so there you go, kids. There's the crown and the sword.
Fantastic.
Joel, you did a beautiful job.
Aw, thanks.
Thank you.
You're a
well,
good
thanks for
friend.
entrusting it to me.
And
Punish man.
at Radiothon, 3D printing nerds gonna be raising a ton of money for us
Yay.
again.
We're
gonna try.
54
Absolutely.
days away from Radiothon. Okay,
Thanks.
program is done. Jody and I are going to be on TV on Fox 13, Studio 13 Live at about 10 after 10, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have my crown on.
Maybe. I'm still the king.
Bender's happy with it. I'm happy with
It is absolutely beyond beautiful, but beyond the expectations that I had. I mean, I knew you were good, and I knew that all the 3D printing stuff that you've done over the years, but that is without a doubt over and above what I really thought it was going to look like. It's absolutely beautiful. I would not be surprised if Seafair actually goes back and says, "Hey, listen, can you make us another one?"
Let's see.
All hail the 3D printing nerd.
Aw.
Here, you're a knight.
Am I knighted now? Should
You're
I?
knighted.
we
There
go.
you go, you're knighted.
You bow to no one.
Modeled by Printed Obsession, printed on Formlabs Form 4. Bill Durant Punished Props did all of the assembly, the painting, and the velour and the foam.
And you spent a week putting on all of the different jewels.
Nights at my kitchen table with a bunch of super glue, gluing my fingers to myself.
Could have paid the kids to do that. But
That's
up to you.
You have kids. Could you think of you?
No.
No, not at all. Listen, if you made this fire awesome, don't forget to hug each other more, fight for cause you believe in, and 3D print all the crowns. There we go. And as always, high five. Going? Nailed it.